Well, the Capital Gazette is a local newspaper. You may have a paper like it in your town. Some of the staff members tweeted earlier tonight that it's not a big newsroom. They're close, they're family, and they're devastated. One staff writer, Phil Davis, wrote this tweet not long after the shooting. He said, "There's nothing more terrifying than hearing multiple people get shot while you're under your desk and then hear the gunman reload." Just before air, I spoke with Phil Davis and another Capital Gazette staff writer, Celine Saint-Felice. Understandably, some of their descriptions are emotional and there is some strong language. Phil and Celine, I'm so glad you're both safe. I'm so sorry for all that's gone on. Phil, if you can start, just kind of walk us through what you saw, what you heard, because I know you tweeted that the gunman shot through the glass door to the office.
Yeah, so the timeline is, I'm struggling to exactly remember when it happened. I'm sure police have described it, but one gunman shot through the glass door to our office. We are in a shared office building. We're in one of the suites, and started opening fire on several of the employees inside once he got entry.
What floor are you on?
So we're on the first floor,
okay.
And we're relatively close to the main entrance. And as we're a suite that's right near the main entrance, and there's a lift in the front of the building that shows which each office is and where it would be in the building.
You said he shot through the front door. Did you actually see him, or did you just hear that?
I did not see him do it, but I did see the door shatter. Essentially, he shot through the front door. The glass shattered. I turned around to see it, and then once I started to realize that something was up, I didn't know what it was. I just assumed the worst and kind of hid under my desk and didn't see anything after that until he was apprehended.
And Phil, you said the initial shot through, you saw the shattering. How quickly after that were there further shots?
I mean, and, Celine, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed pretty instantaneous. It was, he was going down our newsroom, starting from the front, and just continually shooting people. At one point, I'm pretty sure I heard him reload while I was still under my desk, where he was only a few feet away from me. And it was not a long event. I mean, it certainly felt like an eternity, and I'm sure anyone else that had gone through something like this would say the exact same thing. But in all honesty, it probably took all of 2 to 3 minutes.
So, Celine, where were you, and what did you first hear?
So I sit pretty close to Phil, and we sit in about the same area, but I don't know what I remember I was working at my desk when I heard the shots, and it took a couple of them for me to realize what was happening. And I looked at Anthony, the intern, and I said, "I'm getting out of here." And I grabbed my purse and I went to the back door, which I was only a couple steps away from. It was locked. And I said, "It's locked." And at that point, it was me, Anthony, and then John McNamara and Rachel Pacella. And Anthony and I got under a desk. Rachel went to the door, but she tripped, and I think that's how she ended up getting hurt. And I think she got behind a filing cabinet, and I think John was still trying to get out the door. I'm not sure exactly in the next couple of seconds what happened, but then I know that John was standing up. I heard the footsteps, and John got shot. It was very close. I saw him get shot, but I didn't see the gunman or anything. And he fell down, and I heard footsteps a couple times. My purse was on the floor, just out away from the desk, and my sunglasses were on the floor. And I'm sure I was breathing really loud, and I was trying not to, but I couldn't be quiet, and he never came to our side, but I did hear footsteps very closely. And then we're trying to call 911, but I'm sure you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
And I know as Phil said, Celine, I mean, time is difficult to tell in a situation like this. Was anybody saying anything? Was the gunman saying anything? Were people being quiet? Do you remember the sounds?
I just remember the shots. I just remember, I don't remember if it was before or after the shot. John said, "What the f?" And those are the only words I can remember. I don't know. I didn't hear anybody yelling. We just, from the sounds, we knew it was happening. But I didn't hear anything else besides the shots.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. It was I think as soon as everyone found out, everyone got dead silent and tried to hide under their desk. But it was clear that he went after some people that were.
And Phil, I mean, I know you're a crime reporter. I mean, you cover this kind of stuff professionally. Obviously, it's a completely different thing when it's you underneath the desk. Can you just describe what was going through your mind?
I mean, I'll tell you when it first started to happen. I mean, you just immediately go into panic mode. You don't know why they're there, who they're going after, if it's random, if it's a family or a domestic dispute or what have you. So you just try to get yourself out of it. And then, once I started hearing that he was kind of making his way up the hall or up the alleyway or whatever you want to call it, that runs through the pit of desks in our office. Just trying to stay quiet, hoping that the glow of my computer screen didn't point out the fact that I was hiding under my desk, hoping that, the various buzzings on my phone wouldn't put out my, position to him and ultimately try to find out where I was. And, at some point when I was listening to him reload, it's, are we all going to die? It's not necessarily, is he done? It's, is he not going to leave until everyone in here is dead?
Yeah, that was about the same for me.
And had you, Celine, had you and your colleagues done any active shooter training drills or any even fire escape kind of drills?
No, we've just, no. We cover the drills that would happen at the schools, but, we never had one. And
there have been some talks, and not to butt in too much, but there have been some talks. We're part of the Baltimore Sun media group that I can remember of, again, I'm not trying to attribute it to anyone, but simply, a heightened sense of, awareness when it comes to newsrooms as to, protect their own and the like. So there were some talks before, but we never underwent any of that sort of training, no.
And Phil, had you or any of your colleagues seen the shooter before?
No, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone because we're not all here on this call, and I know at least one other person that wasn't in the office, and I imagine some others as well were questioned because they were with me at the police department. But when police showed me the photo of the guy, I didn't see him until after they brought me into the department. He didn't stand out to me as someone that either we would have known or we should have known.
And was anybody aware of any threats made at all to the office? Obviously, newsrooms are, sometimes receive threats.
Not recently. You know what, in all honesty, I've been there for about 2 years. I don't think we had ever, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we'd ever discussed any sort of real adamant threat. Certainly, some, more animated commenters. Every once in a while they tell you not to antagonize them or whatever because you just never know, but never any sort of real threats or anything came across our desk to our knowledge, no.
And what, sorry, go ahead, Celine.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had maybe an incident where somebody was trying to track our boss, but I mean, it was basically blown off as oh, this is just a crazy person. And I mean, we went to the police about it. They know about that, and that is not this person. And I have to say that what happened here was very calculated, but not personal enough, I think. I think that this person was going after editors, and And I could be wrong, right? Like, I don't know anything. But that's what happened here. Editors died. And but, yeah.
You think that might have been intentional, or is that based on where people were sitting?
I mean, I don't know for sure. It's just the facts. Editors died. And that's all I know.
Yeah, the path that he took, and we have not, I don't know about Celine, I have not connected with some of the advertising people who were up in the front during the time that it was happening, but the path that he took, I don't know. As Celine said, John was trying to get out, so maybe it was just an opportunistic shot, but I know two of the editors that he went after were in a similar position to the other reporters where they were at their desks.
Can you say what he looked like, Phil?
I can just, so police showed us a photo of him once they brought us into the department. He was kind of I want to say maybe late 20s, early 30s, white male, maybe 5'7", 5'10" in height, long black hair that was kind of unkempt. Not a very descriptive face. No distinguishing features on the face that wouldn't make him stand out in a lineup outside of his hair, really.
And Celine, how are you holding up?
I watched someone die, so not super great. I was under the desk with Anthony, and I think we had a lot of support with each other. I could be definitely, obviously, doing worse, but it's hard for me to think past the next 30 minutes right now in my life. 30 minutes is a long time, and the answer is not good, right? But I'm here and I'm talking to you, and I know that a lot of people are listening. I have heard that President Trump sent his prayers. I'm not trying to make this political, right? But we need more than prayers. I appreciate the prayers. I was praying the entire time I was under that desk. I want your prayers, but I want something else.
There's
more than that.
No, it's and maybe people that don't know what it's like, and certainly I would never hope anyone to go through a situation like we just went through. It makes you feel powerless. It makes you feel helpless. It removes all control from every facet of your life within only a few seconds once you understand what's happening. And this is a situation where these were people that were working in an office, who were doing their job, who had no reason, at least to the best of our knowledge, to think that someone like this would have a motive, come in there and gun down employees who were just doing their job that day, who had no seeming motive to hate this man. And we're, to Celine's point about prayers, you're right. I was praying when he started reloading that shotgun that there weren't going to be more bodies. And you know what? If we're at a position in our society where all we can offer each other is prayers, then where are we? Where are we as a society where people die and that's the end of that story?
This is going to be a story for how many days? Less than a week. People will forget about us after a week, unless, we keep tweeting. I don't really care about tweeting right now. I honestly didn't even expect to be talking with Anderson Cooper today. I thought people would get like a Apple News notification and they would just blow it off, like what happens to everybody. I reported on Pulse. When Pulse happened, I went to school in Florida, and I remember being so upset hearing about the victims who were texting their families, and there I was sitting under a desk texting my parents, telling them that I loved them, and I just don't know what I want right now, right? but I'm going to need more than a couple days of news coverage and some thoughts and prayers, because our whole lives have been shattered. And so thanks for your prayers, but I couldn't give a about them if there's nothing else.
Celine and Phil, again, I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, but I appreciate the strength of you both talking. Thank you.
Thank you.